Well, hello, friends in Prairie Rose, and welcome to another digital design skills activity. And so today we are going to be looking at designing and learning all sorts of shortcuts and tricks and tips in Google Slides. And we are going to be creating a summary image. Tomorrow, make sure you, not tomorrow, next week, make sure you come back for our Canvas session. So you're not going to want to miss that. So what we're going to do is we are going to dive right into the piece that we're going to be making today. We are going to be creating a bug, a ladybug, in fact. And so this is what we are going to be designing today. And so let's take a look at how to do that. So I'm in a page right here. Now, teachers, if you're doing this ahead of time, you might want to send this an item out into Google Classroom, and you might want to have your students all join the same one. However, you might just decide that you want each student to do their own item and share it with you. So let's take a look at how we would do that. We could open up in a new tab. And did you know this magic? If we type slides.new, there is a brand new Google slide. So I'm going to come off, and over here, I'm going to click the X on the templates. We don't need that. And the very first thing we should always do anytime we're in a new Google slide or Google Doc or anything digital, we need to put a title. So I'm going to call this Ladybug Art. There we go. And I don't need these boxes on here, so I'm going to click in a box to highlight it. See how it's got the blue edges around it? Hit delete. Oh, hit delete. There we go. And try that again. Click the box. Hit delete. Look at that. I have a nice clean canvas. Now, one of the neat tricks that we can do is if we want to print our ladybugs at the end, we can change the page size. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to come down here to, let's see, I wanted to go to, right down there, Page Setup. And I'm going to click on Custom. And then I'm going to go, if we wanted to go this way, 11 by 8.5 is the size of a printer paper. So that would be printable. Now, if you're joining us today, you can let us know in the chat. You can let us know if you have questions. We'll be able to answer those if you have something. Now, if you're watching this afterwards, remember that this video is a YouTube video in the end. So you can stop and pause if you need some more time, maybe to get the page set up, or you can just keep going and keep along going with this. So the other thing that I'm going to do, so this is portrait. My ladybug is actually going to be a little taller than he's wider. So in this case, I'm going to actually go to page setup again. So File, Page Setup, and I'm going to do backwards 8.5 and then 11. So that's going to give me a portrait page. So there it is, nice and tall, and that's going to be the canvas that we are working on today. So I'm going to copy my little guy over here, and I'm just going to paste him off to the side so that we can kind of see what our inspiration is, our muse, if you will. So this is going to be what we're going to try to draw. And did you know that you can even pull this down further so we get a little bit more canvas space there? We want to make it as big as possible for us to draw in. Okay, so let's get rolling. The very first thing we're going to do is we are going to learn about the Shapes tool. And so with the Shapes tool, we are going to, let's see, come along the toolbar at the top. And did you know that when you hover over all these tools, you just hold your mouse there a little bit, it says what they are. So we're going to find the one that says Shape, and we're going to click on that. And then we're going to hover over Shape and slide our cursor to the second row, first item. We're going to click on that. Now, if I want to make this big, what's the red body of the ladybug. So I'm going to just pull that down and make kind of about a ladybug body, just like that. Okay, so we've got a great big ladybug oval, and it looks about the right size on my paper. There we go. So now I'm going to color my ladybug. So we have to always, when we want to work with the shape, we have to make sure it's in that magic blue box. So my box is lit up. I have the blue. Sometimes I call those handles. I'm going to come to the top, and if I hover over, oh, look, it says fill color. So I'm going to click fill color, and I'm going to pick this. Let's see. I think I'm going to pick that little bit of a darker red this time. So we want a nice red color. Now, this drawing has a tiny little border around the outside, and I don't want that. So I'm going to click on, got to click on the shape, and right here it says border color, and I want the border to be transparent. So I don't want to see any border around there. So it has a nice clean look. Okay, so we have our oval. Now, next step is going to be to do this dark triangle. That's going to be like show the separation of where his wings come in. So we're going to go back to that shape tool, shape, and this time we're looking for a triangle. Now, we won't see a triangle that looks exactly like the one that's there. However, if we pick, I'm going to pick second row, second one in, we can draw that triangle to be a different shape than it was in that menu. So I'm putting my cursor right kind of in the top middle of the ladybug, and I'm pulling it all the way down, and I want a skinny base. So it's going to be like a really skinny triangle. There we go. Now, that's hard to see, isn't it? So it's selected. I'm going to come back to my fill color bucket and hit black. And now here you can see, that looks pretty good. When we click on it, we can see that it has a little bit of a gray outline. And so that border color, I'm going to go transparent again. Oh, that must just be part of when we click on it. Okay, so we've got our wings, we've got our ladybug body. Now, we are going to do the head. So we're going to go back to shapes. We're going to go back to our circle. This time we want an oval that's on its side. So I'm going to draw an oval like that. And did you notice, because my last color was black, it came in to be black as well. And then ladybugs also have these two little spots. Now, they're actually not eyes, although they kind of look like eyes, don't they? So I'm going to click on my shapes again, and I'm going to find that little eyeball. There we go. And we're going to just tilt it to the side. Now, this one is gray, and so I'm going to fill it with white. Now, here's the thing. I like to be smarter, not harder. We could say that Mrs. Cannikins is maybe a little bit lazy. So what I'm going to do, instead of going through all those steps again, I'm going to click on that white spot, and I'm going to use a shortcut. I'm going to use Control D. Did you know that that stands for duplicate? And so now I have my spot, and I'm going to use this little dot at the top. That makes it turn. We can see the degrees in there. So I'm going to turn it so it looks about like a mirror image. There we go. How are we doing, Mrs. Nixdorf? Do we have any questions in the chat? Anything?
I have no camera.
Okay. So no questions?
No questions so far.
Okay, we'll just keep going. All right. So we can, maybe that needs to be turned a little bit more. All right. Now, I love to do this next part, the dots. Now, did you know that most ladybugs, the most common type of ladybugs, Mrs. Nixdorf, do you know this? How many dots does the most common ladybug have?
Well, your picture shows 5, so I'm thinking that's not the answer, but I don't know the answer.
I got something in my eye here. There we go. It seems from my research, from what I know of ladybugs, that the most common number of ladybug spots is 7.
Oh.
So we're going to make 7 spots. Now we're going to get the spot exactly like we want it first. So we're going to put on that dot, and we're going to use the fill color, the fill bucket, make it black. There we go. And then I'm going to Control D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. Look at that. So I'm going to drag those all around. And they don't have, ladybug spots actually aren't usually symmetrical, which means the same on both sides. So I'm going to put them in some different spots. And did you know that the 7th spot is actually usually right at the top here?
In the middle.
It's usually in the middle, kind of across, across where its wings would be. So I'm going to make that just a little oval and bigger. So it kind of sits right there in the middle. So there's my ladybug spots. Something looks kind of goofy, but we can move them around a little bit. All right. We are just flying along with our ladybug. We're getting really good at using triangles and circles and ovals. Now, what about those legs? Ladybugs do indeed have 6 legs. So we're going to go back to our shapes tool, and we are going to choose. You could do a couple different things. The one that I think is best is if we take what's called the teardrop here. See, if I hover over it, it says teardrop. There we go. I'm going to click on that one, and we're going to, just like we made a really skinny rectangle, we're going to make a really skinny, pointy. Let's see, I got to get it just.
So, Mrs. Cannakins, if we're talking about ladybug spots, I just learned that ladybug spots are to help them avoid predators.
Yes. And their bright color also, that red, typically if animals are very bright colored, it means that they don't taste good or that they're poisonous. And so that's what that's supposed to be. I think that Mrs. Nixdorf didn't believe me about the 7 spots, so she did some research. But
it's not that I didn't believe you. I just like to learn a little bit more, and the number of spots is related to the species of ladybugs. So each species has a different number of spots.
Yes, but from my research, the most common was 7. So if you want to have more spots, absolutely, you can absolutely have more. Make them a little smaller. And put fewer. You can choose your spots. Now, that's our leg. And so we're going to duplicate. We're going to push this down here. Now, they are sitting on top of the body, and I'm going to show us a little trick to deal with that.
I was just going to say, Mrs. Cannakins, you've got another keyboard shortcut up your sleeves.
So I'm going to make this a little bit. I'm going to get them just where we want them. I'm going to Control D to duplicate yet again. And then this one, I need him to be kind of pointed down. So I'm going to use that turning arrow. And then he needs to come out a bit. I can always change those. Okay, so now watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first one down here. I'm going to hold my Shift key and click on the next one and the next one. Can you now see how that big box goes around all of them? Okay, so that means they're all selected. So if we click the Shift key and we click different elements, it selects them together. Now, here's my next shortcut. If I click the Control and the down arrow, oh, there we go. I need Shift Control down arrow. So Shift Control down arrow. Did you see what happened there? So that's how they were. I went Shift Control down, and that's going to take them behind the most recent layer. So that actually puts them all really quickly behind that ladybug. Now, I could, let's see. I'm going to see if I can Control D to duplicate those legs. Oopsie. Oh. No. Those are going to be hard to get across there. Let's see. So if I Control D, and then now if I am very careful, do you see how I've got like the little crosshair button? That means my move button. Oh, no. I'm just going to give up on that because that's going to be tricky to do. Okay, so we're just going to, I'm going to take Control D, duplicate this guy over here. That'll be just as easy. I could have had them all done. Oh, actually, though, look at this. I like the little thin. You see how he's a little thinner on one end than the other? I like that thin end to be the.
Oh, yeah.
Comes out. There we go. And so one more time, we're going to hit Shift, select. They're all selected. We can tell because they're all in the blue box. And then Control Shift on your Chromebook and use the little arrow key as many times as you need to get it to go underneath the rest of the items. So look at that. There we have, oh, wait a second.
We're missing one piece.
We're missing one thing. So we're going to just use those little leg items again. And we're going to make her ladybug. We'll say it's a ladybug. Make her little antenna or horns or whatever those are. What are those? While you're researching, do you want to see what those are called? Now, if you can see here when they're sitting on top of the black that there is a faint outline. So there's two things I can do. I can select them both, and then I can again go to the line tool and say transparent. And now they don't look like they sit on top, or I can again Control Shift down key and move them to the back.
They are antennae.
Oh, they are antennae. Okay. So
you bet.
we could have done some little things maybe with the line tool. I might even make them a little skinnier up here than the legs. So they look a little different. There we go. Now, the next tool or thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn how to group something. Because right now, if I wanted to move, like if I accidentally moved something or if I moved the body, whoops, look at that. It all goes askew, goes out of place. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor in the top corner. I'm going to drag it diagonally to the bottom opposite corner. And then I'm going to let go. And then everything's in that box. And if you look really carefully, everything has a little gray line around it. It means it's all connected or selected. So I'm then going to right click. Oh, lost that. I have to right click on top of an object. I right clicked on it, the blank space. I have to be on top of an object. And then I'm going to come down and I'm going to click group. So when I click group, watch this. My whole bug moves together. And this is great if I want to make him just a little bit smaller because I think he's a little bit off the page too much. I could make him smaller or get this. Control D. Boop.
Oh, you can make a baby.
I made a baby ladybug. I think that's cute. So I'm just going to leave that right up here. Anyways, okay, so you can see. So again, we click. We always want to kind of click in a corner if we want the whole thing and then drag it all across. Now you see now my problem is that extra little baby ladybug is in there. So if I was going to group it again, I'd want to move that little baby ladybug out of the way so that I didn't group it. So now everything is grouped and there we go. So if I wanted to, I could pick a shape, change those shapes, but we don't want to do that. So we're just going to go right back. That's a new tool. Okay, so let's see some other things we can do. In my Muse picture, my sample picture, I have a background. So knowing how to have a background, whoopsie, is a very important skill in Google Slides. Sorry, there we go. So now I'm going to click on, this time I don't want anything to be in blue. I'm going to click on the background and then you'll see I get this background button. So the first thing we can do is we can change the color. So let's say we wanted our ladybug on a green background. It's a little lighter there. We could do that. So that's one thing that we could do. Now, watch this. Are you ready for another trick? I want to try again. So in my case, I'm going to come over to the left-hand side and I'm going to just see how my frame, we call this a thumbnail of my slide, is in blue. I'm going to Control D again to duplicate. And look at that. Did you know that Control D will work over there? This time, I'm going to turn my background back to, I'm going to make it like a sky blue color this time because I have another trick, not a trick, another skill I'm going to show you. Let's imagine that we wanted to put some grass on our ladybug's bottom here. We're going to use a tool that is next level. So if you're a student in grade 2 or 3, teachers, this might be a great place to end, just to have that ladybug all completed. But if you have some real Google Slides design artists that are kind of like, what's next? I've made all my spots. What's next? And your classmates are finishing up. I'm going to give us a few other things that we can work on as extras. So we're going to come over to Tools. Oopsie. We're going to come over to the Line tool, and I'm going to click on the little caret, pull down arrow, and I'm going to come down to the Polyline tool. So I'm going to click on that. Now you'll notice my cursor becomes a little plus sign. Now this Polyline tool is a click tool. So this is what's going to happen. I'm clicking my mouse in the bottom. I'm actually going to click it off the page. And then I'm dragging it up, and I'm going to click again. I'm going to make some grass. So I'm coming down, up, down, click, up, click, down, click, up, click, down, click, up, click, down, click, up. So I'm going to, grass isn't all even, to make it feel a little shorter, a little taller. Down, click, up, click, down, click, up, click, down, click, up, click, down, click. Okay, woo. Now you see that that's where we're going on there. So I'm going to come as far down as I can. Ooh, I wish I could go a little deeper. I can't, but we'll just make it work. I'm going to click, and then to make this tool work, we have to close it. So I'm coming right across to the bottom, and I'm going to connect it with the other edge. So now watch what happens if I get it lined up. Did you see there? If it goes gray, that shows us that it is all lined up. Now, I only did half the grass because, remember, I'm a little bit lazy sometimes. So
well, that was a lot of clicks, Mrs.
It was a lot of clicks. So instead of making clicks all the way across the page, I'm going to use a Control D. But I don't love how, I think it's a little too skinny at the bottom. So another little trick we can do when we're using a polyline or curve tool is I'm going to triple click, till I get those purple dots. Then if I wanted to make some of these grasses longer, I could make them longer so they're a little more jaggedy. And then what I really want to do is I want to make a little bit more space on the bottom. So I'm taking the bottom right one and dragging it down, and then this bottom left one and dragging it down so that I have a little bit more base. Now, even though the grass right now looks pretty brown outside, I'm going to use my imagination and say, oh, I like it when the grass is green. And we're going to make sure we don't have a border. So now I'm going to Control D, and there we have grass all over the place. And I can stretch that out a bit. So now we have lots of grass. So that is another tool. We have LadyBug and LadyBug Baby. Oh, you know what? I'm going to put LadyBug Baby down at the bottom. Now look at Ladybug Baby is hiding, and this isn't where's Ladybug Baby Waldo. So I want to put Ladybug Baby on the top. So I'm going to hit Control, and I'm going to use the up arrow. And just
I kind of like that hiding baby.
That we could hide. Oh, well, now that we're at it. Okay.
There we go. That's exactly what we need.
We're going to have a hiding baby game. Which wasn't the intent. Okay, so how many ladybugs in this picture? Okay, that was a little.
I love it,
but that was fun. Okay, so let's take the original, and I'm going to control. I've clicked on the left-hand tile. Control D again. This will be the last thing that we show here, and I'm going to make my background white. So turn it to white because I wouldn't have had to, but. Anyway, so background, I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you how to make a picture image. So I'm going to go to choose image, and we're going to go to Google Images. And so you could, if you had something in your Google Drive, if you had a picture of your house, or if you had a picture of someplace at your school, you could add a picture that you've taken and that you've created. You could add that as well. But we're going to search for Google Images, and I'm actually going to use the word background because it tends to be a nicer piece. Background of blue sky and green grass. Oh, look at those. Oh, I like this one of the wispy clouds and the hills. So we could pick any of these. I like this one right here. I like the hill, and I'm going to hit insert. And then look at that. There's my ladybug.
Oh,
And
look at that.
together, I could make it a bit smaller. I could put baby down here. Oh.
You could even turn the ladybug to be walking on the hill.
Oh, like this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Oh, you got a little flat there. There we go. Yeah, we could make our late. Oh, okay. Mrs. Nixdorf and I used to watch Sesame Street when we were young. And I don't know about you, but do you know what there's a song that this reminds me of. Do you know the song?
Well, it's not coming to me, but I bet as soon as you start singing it, I know it.
It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ladybugs at the ladybug picnic. Do you know that?
I don't think I know that.
Oh my goodness. Well, there might be a teacher or two who knows that. I bet on YouTube, when we send this out, we'll maybe put this in
Mrs.
the
Catkins,
video
it's the song's on YouTube, so I think we're going to have to link it.
Okay, we'll link it in the comments below in this video. But that is just I could make a whole ladybug picture right now. We've learned all the things because we've grouped those ladybugs together. We can Control D to duplicate. We can add a background. Oh, just a second. Now insert image. I'm going to go from the web. I'm going to search for campfire because in the ladybug picnic song, there's a campfire that looks just like this. Cartoon drawing from, okay, insert, there we go. Oh, well, I don't like the background around there, but we can fix that later. We could have a ladybug picnic with a campfire, and they actually roast marshmallows, and one catches on fire. Anyways, it's a great video. You've got to watch it. Okay, there we have it, friends. We have all sorts of fun, and now we have scenes and music. We can do so much with Google Slides and with digital art. We are having a little bit too much fun here, Mrs. Nixdorf. We are going to call it quits. We've learned. Can you name all the skills we've learned today, Mrs. Nixdorf? This is a test.
Okay, well, we definitely have used our shape tool, and we've added all kinds of shapes from circles to triangles, and we used I forget what that tool is called now, Mrs. Cannikins, where we did all the clicks, click, 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 and we had to connect. Polyline. We've been able to change the color. We've been able to remove the outline. We were able to use keyboard shortcuts to duplicate. We were able to use our keyboard shortcuts to move objects in front of or behind different layers. And we were able to add, group our pieces together so that we made one big object out of all of our tiny shapes to make our ladybug, so we could duplicate the ladybug and resize her. And you showed us really quickly that you can actually even change the shape of the shapes. I didn't know that tool. You added different colored backgrounds and a picture background. That's one of my favorites.
We changed the page size to be 8.5 by 11 so that it was easy to print.
That might have happened during my technical difficulty.
Yeah, you might have missed that. Okay, so we have all sorts of things that you can do with Google Slides. Your teacher's going to have a playlist where there's a whole bunch of other videos where we've made other great things in Google Slides where you get to practice and learn all sorts of digital skills. Most of these skills work in Canva or other places as well where you do digital designs. So, let's make sure that we talk about Canva. So speaking of Canva, June 23rd, come back, watch that. And here is this playlist of all sorts of other digital skills that we've done. There's a link here, bit.ly/PRPS and the word CoTaught. You can find a whole bunch more CoTaught art lessons from your Prairie Rose coaches. We can't wait to learn with you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.